Good morning, or evening, or night, or whenever it is you're watching this. So today I thought I would take y'all a little bit around the office and show off specifically my bookshelves, what few books I have. It's not a very large or impressive collection, but I'm trying. And some of the cooler things I have laying around in the office and just kind of show you around. Now, like I said, I don't have a ton of books physically. Most of my collection is digital because cheaper and easier. But I am trying to build up my collection of physical books and start actually spending some money on books that I actually really care about and want a physical copy of or a nice copy of. But budgets, money, that sort of thing. So I basically have three things on my bookshelves, books being one, knickknacks and old stuff being two, and just random junk. I'm trying to cut down on the random junk part, but let's get into it and you'll see what I got. So top shelf, we have some cool stuff and some kind of random stuff. Starting with the random stuff, we have a random National Geographic Journey of a Lifetime, 500 of the world's greatest trips. We love to travel, so we have a lot of random travel stuff that has been collected through the generations. And in the vein of the other travel book, this one is an even bigger travel book. Also have my wife's old Nikon camera. Don't use it anymore, but still have it. And this little knickknack is actually pretty important to me. It's actually from me and my wife's wedding. It was one of the cans on the back of the vehicle, the wedding deal, but it's one of the few little keepsakes I have from the wedding. And here we have a Mistborn boxing. Let's see if I can show you a little better view of it. Me and my wife also like playing cards. She's a huge Harry Potter fan. So these are some of the swankiest Harry Potter playing cards you will find. Theory 11 cards. They are absolutely gorgeous. And another set of playing cards. These are actually from the Blood and Ash series. Speaking of my wife and Blood and Ash, these are two books I've recently got for her. And what's special about both of these copies is they're both actually signed, which personally is something I love about books, is just having a signed copy of them. And this is one of the coolest things I have on this shelf, and it is a broadsheet from the Lost Metal. And so they did a full printout of one of these, included with the signed and numbered hard copy that you could pre-order. And all these pages are in the Lost Metal as individual pages, kind of scattered throughout the book. But just having a full broadsheet, just something straight from the book, is just really cool to me. And another cool thing about it is they have a full map of Ellendale on the back of it, which, me, I just love maps. Gotta love maps. Who doesn't love maps? I need more maps. And easily the oldest thing I have on my shelf, this top shelf at least, is this 1887 World Atlas. And I, like I just said, love maps, and I also love old things. So I love books. See, old map books, it just speaks to my heart. I just love it so much. And as you can see, there's actually some world maps in this atlas that just barely show a little bit of Antarctica, but it doesn't show the entire continent of Antarctica. And those little details like that are just so cool to me. All right, and coming down one shelf, we have mostly Brandon Sanderson with some other stuff thrown in just for flavor. Right off the bat there in the center, I have my Name of the Wind 10-year anniversary edition, which I absolutely love. Also on this shelf, I have a sticker, Koloss head munching sticker. It came with the Lost Metal as one of the swag items in that, along with the map you've seen earlier. The other books standing on this shelf, we have the World of Ice and Fire. I just love the lore and the history and the depth of the history in the World of Ice and Fire. The only other really knick-knack thing I have on this shelf is this. It's an old notary press, and it is solid iron. It weighs way more than you'd expect when you pick it up, but it's cool, it's old, and it makes a great bookend. We have Malice. This one I haven't started yet. We also have Six Crows. Now this one does have the TV cover, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it was on sale. I've really been wanting to read the book, so I'm putting up with the the TV cover. Kings of the Wild. I absolutely love this book. It has been probably the funnest read I've had in a long time. Like, it's well written. It's a great book. It's a great story, but it's also so much fun. The fun outweighs everything else with this book. Absolutely love it. And then we have Legends and Lattes. Then we have a mass market paperback of Words of Radiance. I don't think these books do really well in mass market paperback just because of the size. Like, that's a fat, chunky book there. Just saying. Form size, not the best. My other Sanderson mass market paperback, Alloy of Law. Now on to the books I actually care about. Not just kidding, I care about all of them. But these are the UK hardcover editions. I have The Way of Kings, Part 1 and 2. So I currently have the first 2 books in the series, The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, in the UK hardcover editions. I'm working on building up the full set. I also have the US hardcover version of Rhythm of War. I got that as a gift right when the book came out, actually. And what makes it extra special, it is a numbered, signed, and stamped release edition of the book. So that is one of my favorites on the shelf. It's just a really cool piece to me. And then my newest Sanderson book, The Lost Metal. It's also US hardcover. And I mentioned earlier, this is one of the signed, stamped, and numbered ones, similar to the Rhythm of War. This one, super excited about it. All right, and on this shelf, mostly random stuff. So we got Atlas Shrugged over there in the corner. Read that in college. And we have my wife's Harry Potter collection. Like I said, she's a big Harry Potter fan. We also have another one of her books, Once Upon a Dream. It's one of those retelling classic stories. I'm not sure if she's read this one or not. Then we also have a John Grisham novel, which I have not read. And then The Bone Thief, which I've also not read. And honestly, not really on my TBR. Those have just been on the shelf for a long time. Now, in the middle is actually probably the book I care about the most on this shelf. This is a reprint of the 1939 issue of Astounding Science Fiction Stories. And oh my God, I absolutely love it. 1939 science fiction, like, yes, sign me up. We also have The Red Queen and City of Glass, 2 more books for my wife that I have not read. H2O. This one has actually got a really cool premise, and this one the water has somehow become toxic. So when it rains, if you're in the rain, you die. Did not finish it. It just didn't hold my attention long enough. We also have As Old as Time, which is another one of those fairy tale retellings that I have not read. Then we have Water, the Alexandria Link. Again, looks interesting. Have not read it. Dean Koontz, The Good Guy. Now that one I have read. I'm a big Dean Koontz fan. I used to read a lot of Dean Koontz. That one's actually pretty good. And then on the end there, we also have Wake, which I have not read. In a Dark Wood, which I have not read. And what is this last one? A nice classic, The Scarlet Letter. I didn't even know that was on the shelf. All right, and then bottom shelf on this side is pretty much devoted to the library books. It's actually a little sparse right now, considering how many we typically have in library books, but we'll go through them here real quick. We have Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson. This one, I was just doing a quick reference on it for a video that I'm working on. And then we have The Bone Ships, which I am super excited to read this book. I've heard such great things about it. It sounds like it's right up my alley. Then we have Crescent City. This is another one of my wife's books. It's on her list. I think this is the next one she's actually supposed to be picking up. So we'll see what she thinks about it. Maybe I'll get her on here and do a review of it. Then we have The Mask of Mirrors. And then the big beefy boy library book that I'm reading at the moment. One of the ones I'm reading at the moment, Legacy of Ash. And then we have the rando books over on the other side, the 2 black ones. We have the Da Vinci Code with no dust cover and Exiles, which I have no clue what that book is about. Again, don't even know where that one came from. All right, and top shelf over here, don't have any books, but what I do have is old newspapers. And if you've not caught on to the theme, I like old stuff. So we have Man Walks on the Moon. I'm a space nerd to begin with, so to have, something from 1969 when we first landed on the moon is just epically cool to me. You may not care about it. That's fine. I love it. And then sticking with the flying theme on my newspapers, I have from, I think it's 1937, talking about sky ships. On top of the bookshelf, I have not found a good place to mount it or put it anywhere yet, but also I have a Red's Advance Upon someplace. This is from 1942. And one shelf down, we continue our theme of random and cool mixed together. So the most recent pickup I have is The Christmas Carol. This one I actually picked up at the library for $1, and it is a 1938 edition, and it's got a really cool message written in there from 1938. Someone gave this book as a gift, and it's those little things like that that I absolutely love. Then some of the other books on this shelf. Save the Cat Writes a Novel. Then we have Tim Ferriss, Tools of Titans. So this is another one I picked up at the library book sale for $1. Mostly just got it because it's in excellent shape. Looks kind of cool, and it was $1. Then we have The Shadow Rising, book 4 of the Wheel of Time. Mostly just random stuff going on for the rest of the shelf. Another Dean Koontz book. Like I said, I used to read a lot of Dean Koontz. Brad Meltzer. Really like his show on History Channel, Decoded. If you haven't watched that, excellent watch if you're into history. Haven't read the book yet, though. Then we have The Game of Chess. That's a really old edition. I think it's like a 50s or something like that. Then we have Future Babble, another one I'd read in college. Excellent book, though. Selling Sucks, also one I had to read in college. Then we have some very random books. Hunter's Moon, something by Steve Martin, and The Lincoln Lawyer, none of which I have read or really plan to read. Now, I do have one other bookshelf over here, and this one is just pretty much old antique books and things like that, little collection that I have of them. And I may do a future video going through just all my old atlases and old books and things like that. But for this one, just giving you a brief little peek at it. All right, so there you go. Little bookshelf tour, mostly knick-knack tour, to be honest with you. But like I said, I'm trying to buy more books, really build up a nicer collection. But that's what we got so far. Hopefully, maybe in a year, we'll do another one of these and see what books I've managed to pick up and what other old knickknacks I've been able to manage to pick up. What was your favorite thing that you saw? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know. I'd love to talk to you about it. I got a lot of interest, as you can see. Space, history, maps, those sort of things. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps the channel, and I will see you on the next one.